Okay, 553. Ja, gut, das war jetzt das. Dann gehe ich jetzt doch gerade mal von hier weiter zu diesem Dis plus 439. Gehe ich mal zu diesem 992. Dann kann ich nämlich das jetzt durchstreichen. Und ich glaube, ich muss diese Serie auf ein paar weitere, auf mehrere verteilen. Ich dachte, das sei ein kleines Spielchen. Gut. Also gehen wir da mal in die 992. 992. Los geht's. Ja, dann gehen wir da rein. Huiuiui. Was heißt WX? Ich gehe, währenddem es... Nein, ich gehe nachher gucken. Immer schön diese Musik, diese Hintergrundmusik. Also, ich meine, ist ja nichts Grandioses, aber es gibt einfach so tolle Stimmung, muss ich sagen. Schön. Ich genieße dieses Spiel. Es ist so stimmungsvoll. Gehen wir hier mal durch. Oh, das kennen wir noch aus The Ancient Adventure. Da fehlt eine Zunge. Wir sind aber eigentlich immer noch im Root, wenn ich das so richtig sehe. Oh, nicht so viel. Mensch, und da steht noch... Ach so. Ah, Moment. Ah, das ist... Oh, das ist gut. Oh, Mensch, da muss ich später wieder zurückkommen und... Ich dachte, es hätte keine Rätsel. Das gibt's ja nicht. Das ist ja... Mensch, sehr viel lineare Algebra hier, ne? Also Gleichungssysteme und so Geschmäus. KI gleich DI minus GI. Das heißt, wir wissen nicht, was das Zeugs bedeutet. Deswegen weiß ich auch nicht, was WX bedeutet. Da muss ich es gar nicht nachgucken gehen. Ich weiß es schlicht und einfach nicht. Gut. Bin ich von oben gekommen? Ich glaube, ja. Bevor ich das lese, gehe ich da nach... Ah, links ist nichts weiter. Gut. Das da bei Strange Planet. Noch eine Theorie. Tja. Wenn ich das gewusst hätte. Ne? Aber na gut, schauen wir uns das an. Bei Strange Planet. Karmic Civilization Theory. The whole thing starts with karma arms and karmic portals. Some people have the power to draw karmic portals using their karma arms. This ability remains dormant in people until something forces it to the surface, such as the accident Mur had in Kent. But way before Mur, there was an ancient group of people who had this power. They were cut off from the rest of civilization and formed their own society in a set of extra-dimensional areas which can only be accessed through karmic portals or teleports. Karmic portals can be drawn manually without the aid of machinery, but karmic teleports are entirely mechanical. Aha. Okay. Ever notice that civilization tends to regress every now and again? Eratosthenes, wahrscheinlich Aristoteles oder so, proved mathematically that Earth was round long before the 15th century explorers of Europe did physically. Perhaps if Greek civilization hadn't been wiped out, they'd have discovered electricity by the 1st century CE. Es gibt ja diese neue Zeitrechnung, da sagt man nicht mehr nach Christus oder vor Christus, sondern man sagt vor unserer Zeit und zu unserer Zeit. Oder so irgendwie. Century, ja, ich weiß es nicht. Christ Equality, keine Ahnung, einfach wahrscheinlich. Irgendwas. Halt. The ancient Karma people managed to avoid any threats to the civilization by ducking and covering in their own submachine world. Therefore, they discovered electricity and nuclear physics long before Benjamin Franklin and Albert Einstein. They had conducted their own research in the scientific world and began to mechanize the submachine network they'd built during the Roman era. The ancient section in Submachine 4 is an early submachine dating back to the Greeks perhaps, giving that nothing in it is electrified. Everything works mechanically. The mover and its destination are later submachines, a defense network built as people were getting curious. Das war wieder mit diesem Core. Good. It's extremely dubious that Murtaugh was the first human with karmic abilities ever to meander into the subnet. There must have been hundreds, perhaps thousands. Most kept quiet, lest they'd be ostracized or killed. Okay, irgendwie. Or burned like witches. Hint, hint. Haha, aha, das waren also die. Good. But some were in the right place at the right time and karma'd their way into the subnet. Once there ist nicht immer ganz hundertprozentig gutes Englisch, ehrlich gesagt, aber lassen wir das. Ich will ja auch nicht sagen, dass ich perfekt sei. Once there, they either joined the Society of Ancient Karma People or, like Murtaugh, started pushing the envelope. Perhaps they disagreed with the ancient karma civilization. Perhaps they wanted it for their own. Perhaps they wanted to bring it and normal human civilization together. Whatever the reason, the defense network was built. That's where we're going in Submachine 6, and then what happened? Perhaps the ancients discovered space travel, perhaps a civil war broke out. Most likely it was both. The Karma people split into two distinct groups, fought each other, died en masse and left the subnet, perhaps for another subnet, another planet, who knows. Maybe they gathered together the remnants of their civilization and rebuilt. But the main thing is that they left their old subnet, or the old part of it, behind. It's entirely probable that some of these people still haunt the ancient subnet. The problem is finding them. Of course, people still kept stumbling upon the subnet. There is still a karma civilization, but in a reduced form. They are the ones who decided to burn the Kent Lighthouse in Submachine, to bury the Kent Lighthouse in Submachine 2. Das wissen wir auch nicht, wer eigentlich dieses Lighthouse vergraben wollte. Ich meine, es ist ein Lighthouse, das ragt 50 Meter in die Höhe. Wer vergräbt sowas mal so schnell? Ist mir noch nie aufgefallen. Stimmt. Oh. After all, it does have a karmic portal in it, albeit a mechanical one. People are still joining the current karma civilization, and other people are still trying to exploit it. Murtaugh falls somewhere in between. He wants to integrate the ancient society into normal society, and the ancients don't like that. Consider society itself. For most of its life, humanity has taken everything on faith. Momentchen kurz. Oh, das kratzt. On faith. On faith. On faith. Faith, Schicksal, übrigens. But with the age of science comes the age of curiosity. So sometime prior to the turn of the 20th century, someone karmas his way into the ancient subnet. Instead of fearing it, he starts reverse engineering it. He gets a substantial following, and in the late 40s or early 50s, he and his team built the route. By the time the current karma people learned of this man and his research team, they had mapped out about 43 locations. The room in the route where you got the first key has room for 6, and an empty teleport key holder still takes you somewhere. Moment, mal kurz. Room in the route. Da waren 6 Schlüssel. Das ist wieder eine komplett andere Theorie, ja, gell? Okay. Unfortunately, they were unable to continue thanks to the current karma people. Not sure what they did, but it left the route behind. Problem is, people found this guy's notes and started building their own submachines. As far as the wisdom gems are concerned, they are a data medium similar to a flash drive or floppy disk. They can be read using either the ancient karma people's equipment or the current karma people's equipment. So now we get into Murtaugh himself. He's been exploring the subnet for 32 years at least. Consider the present to be the 2000s. Sometime in the 1960s or late 1950s, Mur had an accident while exploring the Kent waterfall. Obviously, the route was still in operation then. Murtaugh made his residence in Kent Lighthouse to keep society out, then found the route mapping team. He helped in the effort for 32 years, but then the current Karma people struck. Murtaugh escaped, albeit barely, and started getting his own team together, composed of ordinary, not Karma people. These people were to continue the route's mission and complete the things they couldn't. However, Mur knew the Karma people were on his tail. Wir wissen noch, wir haben mit dem Mur gesprochen, als wir an der Edge waren, da mit diesem Computerzeugs, und da mussten wir noch seine Kennzeichnung, sein Human Recognition Pattern mussten wir löschen, damit er da reinkam. Wir haben mit dem noch kommuniziert da. However, you that the camera on his tail. He had hidden himself, perhaps in his own submachine, where he talks to members of his team, and that's you, his team. Oh, did I mention Mur first found his way into the subnet by following this cat named Einstein, who belonged to one of the root team? Macht alles ein bisschen Sinn, das ist schön. Here's where you come in. Submachine 1. Mensch, geht jetzt alles nochmals durch, das ist ja riesig lange. Mensch. Here's where you come in. Submachine 1. The basement is a laboratory built by Mur and the root team, and maintained by root after the team's disappearance. You first end up there, karmically teleported to by Mur, having proven a potential candidate for the team. The basement includes a few elements of the subnet's warped physiognomy. Pressing a button on a radio, which is really a tape loop, triggers the drawer opening. It's only a mechanical trick, but the subnet may easily be like this in person, so to speak. The karmic portal is the door that appears after all tiles are placed, an adaptation of the first mechanized portals. This later takes you to the Lighthouse. The Lighthouse was Mur's home when he was working with the root team, but he had to make a mad dash when the root team disappeared. He ended up in the loop, but left behind the mechanized portal he had used to jump to the loop. Under the Lighthouse are some of the team's digouts to this original subnet, which we get to visit in Subnet 4. Note the bricked up connections from to the root. War das da diese komische Backsteinmauer, die wir durchbrochen haben? That was part of Murtaugh's mad dash from the root. The tiled room is merely Murtaugh's lab, and the room below a secret study. Once you leave the Lighthouse, you take Mur's route to. Route to? Jetzt geht er wirklich da durch. Mist. Es dauert noch ein kleines Weilchen. To the loop. The loop was an early defense system protecting the ancient subnet. Mur, thanks to his random leaps, ended up caught there, but was able to karma teleport out and ended up somewhere totally random. He then built the lab. The lab was Mur's base for a while, but they found it. Mur bucked out, but before he did, he built his own electromechanical karmic teleport, which he invented while he was still working for the root team. Once he arrived at his present base, he started recruiting ordinary Joes for his cause. How? By sticking puzzles in the basement, lighthouse, and even the loop. I'll bet you don't actually die of dehydration, but are instead returned to whatever you came from via karmic teleportation. Thing is, though, it's also a review of the circumstances the subject is under. A wisdom gem reader is introduced in Submachine 2, and the bit where you reach into the movie memory reader is an example of the physics of the subnet. A reach into the fourth dimension. Da haben wir durch den, was war das? So ein Dia-Projekt durchgegriffen, das war das. A reach into the fourth dimension. The sand traps are part of the original subnet, as is the ship. A fixed location able to move between two other locations. Finally, most of where you go in the route is either an ancient location or a satellite location for the root team. Ah, das war's.